All right, we're live January 17th, MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, joined by my co-host, as always, Mr. Big Marcel. Marcel, hope you had a good week on my man. How's the weather, man, by the way, like there? Because we're absolutely nailed here in Toronto. Like, it's insane. Like, thankfully, I work from home, but, like, there's no way you could even, like, you can't even get out of your house. The driveway was a big task. I'm 6'3", Marcel. I swear to God, like, half my body was in the snow. And me and Anita started digging it, and then I'm like, let's abandon ship. We can't do this. Like, so we had the snowblower instead that did it, but it was crazy, man. It's insane. So I don't know how about you? How's everything?
Yeah, it's good, man. Just fucking cold outside, but overall, it's not like you can walk in the weather. And I'm not somebody who has it cold very quick because I have kind of an extra coat of myself. So, um, you know, it's okay. Um, Looking forward to do the recap about the event with you. Finally we had an event, a UFC event after almost a month.
I don't know.
So yeah. How about you, man?
Looking forward to talking about with you too, man. I'm good, man. I'm good. We got hype and me in the chat. What's going on, man? Glad to have you here, hype. No, I'm doing good, Marcel. Everything's well. Let's talk about the first card of the year. So,
Somebody
go ahead.
says the chat is disabled.
Chat's disabled. I don't know how it's disabled.
I don't know. Somebody tells me.
How is it disabled though? That doesn't make sense. I didn't disable it.
No, somebody's replying in the chat. So okay, weird. Should
Okay,
work
I'm
now.
not sure. If someone could throw a comment in the chat, let me know if it's working because I didn't like click anything that would. I didn't change anything, so I don't know why I wouldn't. Marcel, you try to type something in.
Me, yeah, for sure.
Anything. I mean, text.
Let me
Mine
check.
came in. There's
Hmm,
it's in the
let me
comments. Try putting something.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll try.
Anyways, so all right, so we had 10 fights to talk about. Picks wise, I mean, it was kind of a up and down night. I think for a lot of us, it was just kind of a tough card to like pick upsets on. I found, Marcel. Marcel, can you throw a comment in there or no?
No, live chat is disabled. This here.
I mean, I don't know how to do this. Hold on, guys. Let me try to figure this out. I don't know why the chat would be disabled. Just hold on a second. I don't know why. All right, I'm here. All right, just let's talk about the fight, and I'll try to find a solution for this. Go ahead. Let's talk about the main event, Marcel.
Mm.
Obviously, a fight that I didn't see coming. Calvin Kattar being Giga Chikadze. Talk about the fight. I'm gonna try to find a solution for this.
Yeah, man. I mean, it started very well, I think, for Giga Chikadze in the first 3 minutes. He looked really good, some very clean leg kicks, some good punches, and then he slipped. And then Calvin took his back, took him to the ground, and finished the round on top. Did well, did some damage, and won the first round. After that, everybody was like, "This is the blueprint to beat Giga." Let's see what's Calvin gonna do after the first round. And then he starts striking with him, and he starts being aggressive, fighting forwards. And Giga had no
Oh,
answer to him. After one half round, 2 rounds, Giga was kind of gassed. Calvin took over. It was an amazing performance by Calvin Chookagian, man. It was absolutely great. Um, yeah, I mean, what a
I think the
comeback
chat
after
should work now.
1 year.
By the way, try to test it now. I think it should work.
Yeah.
I think I fixed it.
All right, let me check.
Just try to throw a test in there, guys. Let me know if I fixed it or not.
Damn fucking sexy. Yeah.
It worked or no?
Yeah, it works.
Okay, maybe it'll take a second for me to see the comment. I don't see anything yet. You see the comment in the?
I don't see the comment, but I can type now. I couldn't type
Okay.
at first.
Hopefully it's if it's
I will
like
type a comment.
recalibrates itself. Apologize for that, guys. I don't know what happened there. Anyways, yeah, I mean, I just didn't see it coming, Marcel. Honestly, like it was just one of those fights. Like I really didn't see it coming. There we go. We got the chat now, guys. Glad to have it.
Hmm.
It's like obviously I overlooked Calvin Kattar, but it's like there's reasons I overlooked him because last time we saw him, he got the shit kicked out of him, and we hadn't fought in a year. So I mean, anytime that happens, I'm gonna fade that, against the guy who's 6-fight win streak or 7-fight win streak, like knocking out everyone. I really respected that win over Edson Barboza. I don't think I would have changed my pick. Like, there's nothing that would have led me to picking Kattar.
Same.
I just think it was such a great performance by him. I'm blown away that a guy like that coming back from that kind of loss, Marcel, to look that good in the next fight. So I just give him a lot of credit. The coaching staff obviously came up with a great game plan. First round to wrestle him was very smart. Giga looked good in that first couple of minutes. He was fast. He was landing kicks. As soon as that fight went to the ground, he slipped and fell. Changed the whole fight. I think Kattar won basically every round. Maybe you could give Giga one round, maybe, but Kattar obviously looked amazing in this fight. The boxing looked incredible. I mean, the boxing was just phenomenal, Marcel. Once again, lands over 100 significant strikes, third fight in a row doing that. Guy's he's on a roll himself. I mean, listen, he lost to Holloway, obviously, but wins this fight. He's obviously established himself as one of the top 5 guys. I can't wait to see him fight next. There's anyone you can give him in the top 5. I think Brian Ortega makes sense. Yair Rodriguez makes sense.
Those are the 2.
Yeah, those fights are both sick. So I'm good with either of them. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm good with any of those fights, to be honest with you. So yeah, I mean, I was blown away by the guy's comment, by his performance, and then I got some comments here, guys. I'll take them. Quinn saying Giga's comment. Yeah, Giga said that he would win this fight 9 out of 10 times. Once again, the guy completely overlooked him. Obviously, Marcel. The whole lead up to this fight, Marcel, he was talking about Korean Zombie, talking about Max Holloway or Volkanovski, not talking about Calvin Kattar. I don't think he respected him that much. I think he paid the price for it. Honestly, I really don't think he. I think he overlooked him, guys.
You know what it is, Adam. I think the UFC, they didn't, and now it's okay, but they should have waited until that fight happened between Calvin Kattar and Giga Chikadze. Because what if Giga knocked him out in that first 3 minutes? He had every right to talk about that title fight, but yeah, he didn't win, so he didn't have every right to talk about it. But you know what I mean? If he would have won, everybody would have said he should have got the title shot instead of Korean Zombie, So I understand that, but yeah, he might have underestimated him. But if I say that, I also take away from Calvin Kattar, because then I say Giga wasn't at his best, and I don't know if that's true, because I think Calvin.
I don't think he was at his best. I personally don't think he was at his best. I just think he overlooked him, but I don't know. He tired out way quicker than we've seen. But I think the wrestling, obviously, of Kattar, that was part of that. I don't want to take anything with Kattar. He looked amazing. I can't wait to see him fight again. Again, I've been a fan of the guy his whole career. I just thought that last fight, getting that beating, that would change his career for the worse. But I was wrong, because this is the best he ever looked, probably, right? I mean, the guy's a great fighter, man. Anyway, so any of those fights make sense. I don't think he's fought Josh Emmett yet. That fight would be good too. That would be a banger and a half, Marcel. Any of those fights for me are good fights. A top 5 guy against Calvin Kattar. Let me get these comments, guys. Hey Tristan, what's up, man? So many people overlooking Kattar. Nobody should have been plus. Yeah, I mean, I overlooked him, so I'm the first guy to admit it. We haven't seen Giga in the 4th half. His cardio didn't look great. I mean, he hung in there. By the way, his chin's amazing. The fact he didn't get knocked out, both guys, amazing chins. We didn't talk about fight of the night. There was no fight of the night up to that point. The UFC could have just put that fight bonus in that pocket, because I thought they were going to do 3 bonuses again. Marcel and Dana White was going to bet $50K on football again, because apparently he's been losing on it. But they actually gave up the 4 bonuses. Hey, Kevin, what's on? He said he's glad to get the chat back up in time to talk about Chookagian's fight. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, for me, for Kattar, that's who I give it next. And then for Giga, who would you give Giga next, Marcel? Any thoughts on that?
I honestly would go with Movsar Evloev if he's back. I think that would be a great fight. As countryman, Topuria didn't get to fight him, and when I think Movsar has COVID. I think when he's back, why not? Sure. I think Movsar deserves a step up in competition, and I think Giga has to get one back now. So I wouldn't mind that, And even if, and I say if, Bryce Mitchell wins against Edson Barboza, would be a good one, but that's some time.
I'm just looking at the rankings, and the one guy those fights make sense, but Shane Burgos is right there too. That would be a good fight.
Also, we have to take in mind that Giga probably got a medical suspension for some time, so we don't know when he's back.
Yeah, no, good point. You'll probably be out for a little while now. We get some comments. Egan Sadiq. Yusuf's fighting. Isn't he fighting? Caceres, right? Yeah. What else do we have here? Hey, Joseph. Mandan and oh, really? I didn't see that today. Did that happen today? Oh, today it happened? I've been.
Yeah, she's gonna go. She's gonna make her own team, her own gym.
Really? Okay, I got to read about that. I didn't know. It's interesting. I mean, no doubt about it. Does it foreshadow Kayla Harrison's move to the UFC? Right, that's what people are going to ask now. Maybe that's what's happening. Dan Lambert's all over Kayla Harrison. I think he's all in on her. I believe so. Maybe that's what happened. I'm not sure. I got to read about it more. Giga really stopped throwing the kicks. I mean, Kattar had a great game plan. He was the one walking forward, right? Like when Giga fought Barboza, Marcel, he was the one walking forward. In this fight, it was the other way around. Go ahead.
And Adam, Kattar still doesn't block low kicks. You saw it against Giga. He still doesn't,
And he also got hit by another 100 significant strikes himself. Like, he's got an amazing chin, but I'm telling you right now, he's going to get knocked out at some point, Neymar. So, like, he's taking a lot of damage in fights, but so far, I mean, he hasn't been killed. But I think, like, a guy like Josh Emmett might knock him out. I really think that could happen.
Yeah, that's why people are saying, and I agree with those people, if Kattar fights Max Holloway tomorrow again, might be the same thing as last year, because he still fights the same, only Giga Chikadze couldn't have that same pace, Giga couldn't go with that pace that Kattar had. And Kattar looked good, man, on Saturday, man. We really have to give him props. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm blown away, man. I mean, like I said, he shut me up. I was wrong about that. Yeah, I mean, I thought finish was coming, Tristan, but again, Giga is a very tough guy. Good experience for him. I mean, you got to remember, he's only been fighting since 2015. Kattar's been fighting since like 2007 or 8. Like, he's been fighting forever, Marcel. 15 years of experience. He was in Elite XC back in the day, Marcel. Like, he's been fighting forever. So that extra experience. I'm talking about Calvin, right? Giga's he was a World Series of Fighting in 2015. He made his debut. So obviously he has the
kickboxing background. Yeah,
MMA is different sport, man.
For sure.
We saw that, and we saw that in this fight. Anything else with this fight, or you want to move on?
Let's move on, man. Let's move on.
Okay, let me just pull up the fights here, guys. All right. So yeah, I mean, it was a wonderful performance in my opinion. Okay, co-main event. I mean, we both nailed this fight. I think. I mean, for me, I really like Collier, and I think he's an underrated guy. Looked good. I mean, obviously the guy's like, not in like the best shape, but he makes it work, man. And he's got good cardio for a guy that doesn't look like he would, right? He looked good in this fight. Marcel was probably one of his better performances. Take Sherman down, submits him. Obviously, this should never be a co-main event. This is a prelim fight on like any card. I can't believe this is a co-main event, but I've always liked Jay Collier. I'm happy he got this win, man. So what do you think? He got a bonus too.
Perfect, man. I mean, he went striking with him. First, it looked like Sherman had something to go, but immediately Collier, you saw he had a better technique. He ankle picked him, went to the ground, went the mount. Then Sherman went to his belly, choked him out. It was a perfect performance, man. Very nice. We both picked Collier to win. I don't think I picked him with a finish, but via decision.
Same here.
Yeah, a good win for Collier, and an expected win. And I think for Sherman, I mean, I hate to say it, but I think was his last fight in the UFC, man.
Yeah, I was looking at his record. He's 1-6 over his last 7 fights, guys. Yeah. And that's just not good. And I agree, Tristan. I've said this for a while, Sherman. He doesn't look like himself off PEDs. He's a cool guy. I mean, he's got a good personality, but, I don't think he's UFC caliber. But I do think, Bellator would be a good spot for him. I think he could have some fun fights there, maybe, Marcel. PFL, no, I don't. I think he'd get destroyed in PFL, to be honest with you. But I think Bellator maybe, or back to the regional scene. I think he's out of the UFC, though, man. Collier, I was going to say the submission prop was plus 1,200. I never saw that coming. So, it's one of those fights where the guy that I thought won, but not the way I thought he would win. You know what I mean? Like that, the way he thought that he won really surprised me. Next fight, Brandon Royval defeats Rogerio Bontorin, split decision, really close fight. Bontorin had 8 takedowns in this fight, but Royval kind of was working more. I think the right guy won the fight. It was close. But I will say this, that third round, that tap was pretty close. At first, when I was watching it live, I thought he tapped out. Replay, it was like one of those Brazilian taps. I don't know, man. I don't think he tapped, honestly. So I'm glad the right guy won. Had Bontorin won the decision, I think there would have been a lot of controversy there, but the right guy won the fight. So it's one of those things, Marcel. It's kind of a tough spot for the ref, I think, because it's an iffy one. But because I think some refs would stop the fight, and if they stopped it, they would be like, "Look, he tapped." You know what I mean? But because he didn't say it, and the fight kept going, I don't know what to say, man. It was kind of a weird one. Maybe they could have stopped the fight and then taken a look with replay. I'm not sure like what the rule is there, but like you remember the fight with Holland and Dawkins, right? Remember what happened there? Anyways, I don't think it was a tap personally, but what do you think, man? Talk about it.
Yeah, I heavily disagree with you, man.
Okay.
I think Mark Smith had a clear view. You saw a clear view. Even Bontorin was looking at him when he tapped, and he went and he continued on. The typical Brazilian tap, man. They tap, they hope the opponent releases the hold, and they can continue. But, I mean, it's almost comparable to me, the Werdum against Ferreira one in PFL, what happened, and there Ferreira actually finished Werdum via KO and got overturned in no contest. But I was happy Royval won, because there would have been a lot of controversy. But I mean, the referee had a clear view. He should have seen it. I don't know if he saw it or not, And why not going to a review? Because the referee says, I didn't saw anything because you're fucking blind. Go at least to a review. Then you still can say, I don't think it's a tap. Okay. And also, man, Bisping immediately say after the replay, no, that wasn't a tap, dude. If that wasn't a tap, you ask Stevie Wonder to me. But to me, that was a clear tap, man. It's a one tap, and there's a typical tap, like you want the opponent to release the hold so you can continue. That kind of tap was that, So, but I'm happy Royval won. It was a close fight, but would have been a lot of controversy, man, if Bontorin would have won that fight. So,
yeah, I agree with that. I'm just glad the right guy won the fight. Hey, what's up, BJ Persistence? That's my boy right there. Kevin, what's up, man? Hey, John, what's up? Have to say I thought Bontorin won. It was a close fight, John. Honestly, I thought it was really close. Yeah, it was close. I think it was the first round that was the judges were split on. 2 gave to Royval. I think he worked a little more, but Bontorin had those takedowns, right? But again, you got to do stuff, you guys. You can't just hold them. And again, in 2022, I do think the judges are getting smarter. Marcel. But I am surprised though. I got to say 8 takedowns, and he had like 7 minutes to control and lost the decision. So. It's one of those fights, guys. Go ahead.
The thing is, when Royval is on his back, he's very active,
He's working all the time.
And sometimes judges don't look at that, But this time they did.
I agree with that.
So.
They did a good job, I think. Yeah. Let's go to the next fight here. Katlyn Chookagian defeats Jennifer Maia. Decision. I mean, I don't understand why we need to see this fight again. I just don't like. We didn't learn anything about either girl again. To be honest, I think it was one of Chookagian's better fights. Like, I think it was one of her better performances. Showed off her ground game surprisingly. You would thought that Jennifer Maia was the better wrestler, right? It's so weird that she out wrestled Valentina in that one round, Marcel, because the rest of her career is just it's not like that. In this fight, Chookagian gets the job done. Another decision. Here's the thing: she's a free agent now. Her management is the same as Francis Ngannou and Kevin Lee. Dana White mentioned that she was a free agent. He said Mcgee is going to take care of it. It's just. Maybe they let her go. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say because the thing is, like, really, she probably is the second or third best girl in the division, but not the most exciting fighter. Kind of blocks your up and coming fighters from becoming a contender because she usually outpoints them and wins decisions. I'm not sure. It's kind of. I think they'd be on the fence. I'm not sure, Marcel. I don't know what they do. I would lean towards them resigning her, I guess, because she is a top 5 fighter and. Maybe she'll get a deal done, but it wouldn't surprise me, I guess, either if she did get let go. So went to like Bellator maybe. So what do you think?
I agree with you, man. I mean, she didn't get a new contract right before this fight, so in my opinion, the UFC kind of was hoping that Maia would win, and then they could boot her even more easily, and that's why they probably booked the rematch, but. True. Yeah, we both know Chookagian was going to win, man. Let's be honest. So it didn't even matter, I gotta say, the first round, I was impressed with her ground game. She did very well in that in the first round, and I prefer to watch Chookagian wrestle instead of striking because then I don't have to mute my TV. I mean, overall a good performance. And the thing is. Sometimes you have in the division, you have the typical point fighter, and she's a typical point fighter, and there's no disrespect to her, but it's just how it is, and it's not very entertaining to watch, but we know that from the start, so yeah.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I thought it was one of her better fights, honestly, but like as far as her it's an overall performance, like I still think she's a boring fighter, honestly. So that's why I think that they could let her go, but again, she is so highly ranked. I mean, she's in that John Fitch situation, right? Right, Marcel?
Yeah, Fitch,
and Formiga, like someone like that, yeah. What do you guys think? I want to hear what you guys think because I'm kind of on the fence about it. What do you think?
Compare it to Elias Theodorou, right? Only Elias wasn't ranked.
Yeah, that's a good. There's probably another woman that was kind of like boring that we're kind of missing. That who's a Juliana Lima or something like that, like a decent, you know what I mean? Someone like that she popped. I think she was in PFL later on. Anyways. Yeah, I saw that, Tristan. That's not a record you want. Yeah, Kevin, it's on the fence. This guy's saying A Loco. He's saying Hardy Speedx being rebooked. That's good to hear, man. I believe this guy. These guys got some sources. Hope they don't bring her back. She's boring. Yeah, she's not exciting. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe she'll get more from Bellator, but I don't feel like there's going to be like a huge market for her, you know?
Yeah, I don't think Bellator will pay top dollar for her, to be really honest.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but I mean, she could get an immediate title shot there. To be honest, she might win the belt there. She could easily win the belt. So
Yeah,
it's
but
definitely. Go ahead.
no disrespect, Adam, but would you want Chookagian as your belt holder at Bellator when you have now girls like still Ilima-Lei McFarlane, Denise Kielholtz, you got Carmouche there. I don't think Carmouche is
Juliana
done winning either.
Velasquez.
Juliana Velasquez, the champion, actually. Yeah, I don't know, man. You know, you can do the rematch with Liz Carmouche, for example. You
But
know,
like, let me
but I
ask you a
mean,
question: like, who would win, Juliana Velasquez or Katlyn Chookagian? Who would win that fight right now? If I'm asking you right now, who would win?
I mean, if Velasquez can get her to the ground, I take Velasquez, man.
But I don't know if she can. I mean, she's like Kaylyn's looked like an improved grappler. That's what I'm saying. Like, I actually think there's more intriguing. Like, I'm more interested in those fights. I don't want to see her against these top 10 fighters in the UFC. Like, I don't find the fights interesting, and you know, she usually wins these fights.
To be really honest, I still think she lost to Araujo, but yeah.
Yeah, I thought she lost that fight too. I mean, I bet on Araujo too, so I had some bias in that one, but I still thought she won the fight. I mean, that second round, Araujo had like 3.5 minutes of control, and she had like top position, and like I think she had full mounts. And then the last minute, you know, Caitlyn was doing the hut thing, and the judges gave it to her. It was awful. It was a Texas decision, Marcel.
The hut thing.
Let's move on because I'm not giving any more airtime to Katlyn Chookagian and Jennifer Maia. All right, last Slava Borshev knocks out Dakota Bush, left hook to the body, brutal. I mean, this guy is such a good striker, as we knew Marcel coming in. I really liked him in this fight, and he got the job done. Really like this guy, man. Contender series guy, very impressive prospect, man. At 155, what do you think about Slava Claus, Marcel? He's a good dancer too, man.
True, yeah. He had trouble with the wrestling of Bush in the beginning, man. But he came back and he stood up, and those 2 shots to the body were lethal, man. And yeah, amazing debut. And I wouldn't say as spectacular as his Contender Series fight, because that was even more crazier.
Yeah.
But man, if you can knock somebody out with 2 shots to the body, amazing.
Yeah, because Chris Duncan and like Dakota Bush are kind of on the same level, right?
Like,
yeah. Say they're like the same. Okay, so like let's match up this guy. So he's got 1-0 record now. Let's go find someone to fight for him to fight. Oh man, I'm looking at the division. Other 1-0 guys, Taryn McKinney, he's got a fight book. How about Guram Kataladze? They wouldn't do that fight. No. They wouldn't do that fight. No, but Slava Borchev, Odman Azatar would be a good fight, Marcel. That would be a fun fight.
Sure. For sure.
You'd like that one, eh? That'd be
the striking.
That's the fight. There we go. 2-0 guy versus 1-0 guy. I don't know if Ali would do that fight, but Magomed Mustafayev, whenever he comes back, that'd be a good fight. I don't know if they're going to rebook that fight he had. Well, there's a couple other guys. There's a lot of guys actually. I mean, but I think you want to imagine with someone, you know, a couple fights. You know, you might even give him someone like David Onama or someone. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like someone just like on the periphery. I've noticed they're kind of doing those fights. Like Brandon Jenkins is fighting Drakkar Close now. You know, Marcel.
What about Mike Davis?
Sure, I do. That's a good fight. You know, that would be a great fight. Mike Davis, he's not booked. I think that would be a good fight. There we go. That's a great fight. Let me get some comments here. Do you guys notice that Ali's clients could be next for Kamzat is getting us delayed? Is Ali scared? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Dakota Bush was a good wrestling test with 70 passed. Yeah, I mean, he got taken down, right? But he got back up and he knocked him out. It's the same thing with Chris Duncan. He got taken down. Oddman's too busy partying. That'd be a good fight if they did it. What's up with Strava's striking defense? Yeah, he did get. Yo, you know what? I agree. I mean, he got tagged. The first couple of minutes, I guess he was adjusting, but he was getting hit a lot. I don't know if he's going to be like a champion or anything like that. He's a fun guy to watch, though. But like, you know, if he did fight Ottoman Astor, I don't know if I'd pick him to win. I don't know if I'd pick him to beat Mike Davis. I have to think about it, you know, Marcel. Mm-hmm. But I think he's a fun guy to watch either way. So, personally, sorry guys, yawned right in the middle of that. No, I'm not bored by his style at all. I think the guy's amazing. I'm not bored by this guy. He's a fun guy to watch. Like I said, he's a good dancer too. So. Marcel, I think he's one of the better Contender Series guys. Now, let's go to the next fight. A couple of Contender Series alum. Bill Algeo defeats Joanna Sabrito. You know, I thought this was a close fight. You know, I think it was a close fight personally. You know, I think Algeo probably edged it out, you know, at the end there, but it was close for me. And the post-fight speech was a little bit arrogant in my opinion. You know, calling out Giga, and it's like, bro, you barely won against Joanna Sabrito. You know, Marcel, like he won the fight. Don't get me wrong, guys. He definitely won, but I wasn't like solely impressed by either guy, you know, in my opinion. So I don't know. What do you think, Marcel?
I think Brito had the first round. You know, I think Algeo came back later in the round, but I still gave it to Brito.
Yeah.
second round, I mean, Brito landed 2 very clean shots, but Aljo was overall in control, in my opinion.
Yep.
And I take the third round also to Aljo. So 29-28 for
Yeah.
him. I picked Brito, but I think Aljo won. I had 29-28. So it's a good win for him, and he needed that one. He was 1-2 in his 3 UFC fights. If he lost, he was 1-3 and probably was getting booted, so the 2-2 probably saves him. It's pretty much just like what somebody else who was 1-2 and won and made it 2-2. I don't know. Jamie Pickett.
We'll
Yeah.
talk about him in a minute. Yeah. And also TJ Brown, same thing with him. We'll talk about those guys in a minute. I'll get this comment from Joseph. Hey, Joseph, I know you ripped Miesha Tate. What are your thoughts for taking a shot in news and picking Payne to win? I mean, she's her friend. I'm not surprised at all. She's like, oh, I picked her to win. Like, well, all the other predictions you got wrong. It's like, whatever. I don't care about her opinion. And I think she probably loses that fight too, by the way. Lauren Murphy's Lauren Murphy's probably going to beat her. I'm going to say that right now, Marcel. I'm going to say it right now. Lauren Murphy's probably going to beat Miesha Tate. Now that I think about it, because she just matches her in the toughness, the grittiness, the wrestling, everything really. It's like a very close fight. I thought Miesha looked so bad in her last fight.
I just feel like Miesha's super annoying lately. I don't know.
I know. Gosh, talk about other people's lives and stuff. I think Aljo would be from Giga for a while. Yeah, maybe. I want to say Aljo was in. Yeah. They're both kind of. I mean, they've been around with these two for a while. Both contender series guys. What's up, guys? Hey, Joe. What's going on, man?
What's up, Joe?
All right, Jamie Pickett defeats Joe Holmes. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I overlooked. I don't think I would have changed my pick. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think Jamie Pickett's that good. Even after this win, I still don't think he's that good. It's just Joseph Holmes, obviously, Dana White was probably right about him not being ready for the UFC, Marcel, because it didn't look like he was ready. He had the octagon jitters for sure. Woke up in the third round. He won the third round, but the first 2 rounds, Jamie Pickett won. So Pickett wins the decision, Marcel. He's 2-2 down the UFC. He's asking the UFC to re-sign him. I don't know. I mean, to me, he's not that exciting. The fights in the UFC are kind of boring. The last 2 fights in Staropoli in this fight. Not too impressed with this guy. What about you, Marcel?
Actually, all 3 rounds for Jamie Pickett, man. I think Joseph Holmes didn't show up. The Joseph Holmes we saw in Contender Series, the Joseph Holmes we saw against Jonathan Petit in the Dana White or in the Fury FC, that Joseph Holmes didn't show up. And I think Joseph Holmes, who fights well, should win. Now let's don't say 9. Let win 7 or 8 out of 10 times against Jamie Pickett. He didn't show up, and Jamie Pickett probably his best performance in the UFC so far. Did very well, and won the fight. I think, by the way, that many of the prelims weren't really that great of matchups against each other, and it's not. Some were very one-sided, and the other ones were like, yeah, it was. I think the main event and Royval Bontorin. And the 2 finishes saved a lot for this event, to be really honest, because the prelims, I didn't have a great feeling with the prelims, to be really honest. You're muted, man.
Sorry, my dogs were barking, so I muted it, and then I forgot. The prelims were pretty bad. I mean, the card wasn't that great, There's a few fights at the end that kind of saved it, but overall, not a great card. But yeah, I think for Pickett, I'm just looking at who else has 2 wins. How about Petrosky, maybe someone like that he could fight, if they re-sign him. But I wouldn't be surprised either way. This guy saying Nick Maximov. Yeah, maybe they could do that fight. I don't know. I'm not too excited, but I just Marcel was his best performance, but I'm still not impressed.
Yeah, same.
That makes sense, Okay, here's a guy I was impressed by. My God, Mcgee, man. I mean, wow, the guy's getting better with age. It's crazy, right? He should be getting worse and losing, but he's looked good lately, man. And he shut me up again on this one. I was kind of on the fence about it, Marcel, honestly, but I didn't think it'd be a one-sided beatdown like this. I'll be honest. I thought it'd be a competitive fight. This was an absolute beatdown. Give me your thoughts on this fight, man. Court the Crusher McGee in the win.
Yeah, man. I picked Ramiz Brahimaj to win. Court was all over him, man. The whole fight, dragging him down, also knocking him down right before the end of the first round, I think.
Yep.
He was all over him, and Ramiz didn't have an answer, and we also know that Ramiz, actually, I don't think he ever made the full 3 rounds in his career. Yeah, twice, and he lost both those fights, and this is the third one. So just a good performance by Court McGee, man. Ramis is much younger. He's an older guy, and he looked very good. Much respect, man, to the Ultimate Fighter 11 winner. You know,
want to something crazy? Okay, so in this fight, he had 10 minutes and 57 seconds of top control time, and against Claudio Silva, he had 9 minutes and 8 minutes and 3 seconds. So he's had 19 minutes of control time in the last two fights. That's insane. Like, who else has 19 minutes of control time in two fights? It's like Khabib territory, guys. Like, I don't get it. And where was this against Carlos Condit? Remember when he fought Condit and they just stood and traded? Like, why did he wrestle Condit? The guy with the worst takedown defense.
Yeah, I don't know.
But now he's fighting smart and looking good. Very impressed, man. I mean, how can you not be? Quite a lot of debut fighters rolling their first fight, make 270 interesting. Yep, I agree, Glenn. We'll talk about that card tomorrow. UFC 270, guys, 5 p.m. Eastern, and the MMAOB Daily Podcast. Break it down. Slava Claus and Astor. Yeah, we both said that fight. We both liked that one. Just tough fight. I think Collier. Yeah, tough fight called out Collier, and Collier's like, if you can make 265. It's funny because Collier should probably be fighting at like 185 or 205, and yet, he makes 265. But Tafa obviously should be at 265. He can't even make 265 in his last fight. At 267. What
was that weird-ass thing with when the official weigh-ins were going on? And Collier and Sherman were the two last one to weigh in. I was like,
they just so long. Like, they should have just stepped on the scale and got it done with. It was weird.
Yeah.
They usually do that, and they'll get the stare downs done quickly. All right, next fight, Brian Keller against Croom. Yeah, I mean, Keller looked good. It was a tough fight for him. I mean, like, matchup-wise, because Croom is so much bigger, right, and longer. Mm-hmm. And Croom did a good job. Like, Croom, actually, for a lot of the fight, Croom was doing, like, a good job on the feet, outstriking Keller, man. Like, out-volleying him, Marcel, and winning large portions of the fight. But Keller had the way more significant strikes. He had a knockdown, and then the third round took him down, beat him up. Overall, great performance against the guy who came in a short notice, and Croom did a good job. But overall, Keller, man, another great performance by this guy. Give me your thoughts.
Keller did what he had to do, man. He had a guy who took the fight on 4 days' notice, a weight class up. He had to win this fight, let's be honest, And for Croom, yeah, he probably needs to win his next fight, But he gave a good fight, I think, to Keller with 4 days' notice. So respect to him. But yeah, a win that Keller absolutely needed to have, against a guy like Croom. And maybe they rebooked the Saityakup Kakramanov fight. I mean, why not? Sure.
They could, or they can give him some even like more bigger name. It's too bad that fight got canceled, by the way. TJ Brown also I was supposed to fight Benitez, and then we talked about that fight last week, and then after the podcast, I think that fight got switched. The next day there was another switch. We knew that was going to happen, but anyways, TJ Brown he defeats Charles Rosa in the short notice fight. Probably his best performance. First 2 rounds he won, but again, third round he lost. Rosa always wins the third round, but again, Marcel gets taken down, controlled. He did sign a new contract, Rosa, so he won't get cut, even though he probably should be, or he'll get another fight at least. Brown gets the win. Any thoughts on this last fight?
I mean, very smart by Rosa, man. He went to Vegas. He actually wanted that fight against Topuria. UFC was like, no, you can have the fight against TJ Brown. He took that one. I mean, he lost, but he gets a new contract, so works out for him, right? And for TJ Brown, it works out as well because he really needed a win. So, yeah.
Yeah, he got the job done. Like, for me, it's like it's probably his first real win, because I honestly don't think he beat Kai Kamaka. And by the way, Kai said, props, and was like, congrats, man. So, like, that's cool, because he's in Bellator now, I believe, right? He just won his fight in Bellator, didn't he? Yeah, he won his fight. So, John wants them to rebook Kakramanov. Yeah, that'd be a good fight still. Hey, Marcus, what's up, man? Who do you think Keller should fight next? Marcel had a good suggestion there, just rebooking it. But I think, again, he kind of deserves someone higher ranked, in my opinion, at this point. He's doing the UFC a lot of solids lately too, eh? Like, let me see how many wins he has. He's got 8 or 9 wins now. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. He's going to fight at 135, hopefully. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not sure. I wouldn't mind if they rebooked it.
What about Paiva?
That'd be a good fight. Casey Kenny, does he have a fight? Does he have an opponent? That'd be a fun fight. So. I would like to see that fight. That'd be a good fight. Someone like that, I think. Fuck, man. I mean, Adrian Yanez would be a good fight, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be a good fight?
Yeah, why not?
Wouldn't that be a good fight, guys? Like, maybe that's the fight. Davey Grant would be a good fight. Holy shit, that'd be a good fight, eh? Any of those fights.
Bantamweight is awesome.
It's such a good division. So much fun. Even though he fought at 145.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be similar in 2020 towards the COVID? It sure seems like it, eh, buddy? Like, it's crazy, man. He would have won Max and full out there in fight week, in his opinion. After weeks off the card badly, these finishes. Yeah, I know. I know that I just didn't see much engagement, I guess, but like no one seemed to care about this card. To be fair, NFL playoffs were going on. I also believe Dana was probably watching the Las Vegas Raiders playing, and also the New England Patriots were both playing, both his teams. Keller, future ranked fighter. I think he's close to the top 15
Possible,
now. Like,
yeah.
He's not there yet because Caceres is, I think, 15. He's been on a roll too. But he's like right there, guys. Like he's a good fighter, man. Honestly, he's an underrated guy. He's put together a good career,
Who's 15? Caceres is featherweight. Who's 15?
I'm sorry. Yeah, my bad, guys. Sun Sal. I think he could easily take that spot.
That's actually a good fight.
You know what? There's the fight. There you go. Give him
actually a good fight.
Give him a chance, to get in the top 15. I don't even know if he'd win that fight. It'd be a good fight. It's a fair fight. That's what you want. You want a good, fair fight, right? That'd be a good, fair fight. But yeah, I like the guy. He's a fun guy to watch. So yeah, I mean, any other there was a few other changes during fight week, right? I think something else got canceled, didn't it?
I think Silvana Gomez Juarez and Vanessa Demopoulos got through this week, right?
Yeah. So we broke it down. We'll talk about that fight again, and then also the Pereira, that fight also got pushed.
Yeah, against Fiallo. Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually talked about that one, last week. So yeah,
we did. The interesting thing was, I was like, man, if he gets more notice, maybe I'll pick the other guy. I'll tell you guys tomorrow on the podcast. But yeah. Anything else you want to talk about from this card? I feel like I got everything I want to say about it. Overall, I mean, honestly,
pretty much covered everything. I think.
Not a great card. I mean, let's be honest, it really wasn't. But it did have one of the best fights of the year. It's going to still be one of the top fights of the year at the end of the year. The fight was amazing. Had two good finishes, and the rest of the fight was kind of meh. Marcel, kind of meh. By the way, let me ask you a question. Had there not been, just say Collier won a decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the fight didn't happen. But do you think they would have kept that bonus, or do you think they would have given it to someone like Court McGee who had like a really good one-sided fight? Like, what do you think?
They would have probably kept the bonus.
You hate that when they do that, right? Like, is there anything that drives you nuts?
Nuts I mean, there was one event they hold a bonus, and then there were like 2 draws or something, and I was like, you keep actually 2 other bonuses, So
that's so funny. Timber Valley, Umar, and Jack Short. Yeah, those guys are all good too, man. Obviously, they're all beasts. Oh yeah, Marcel, talk about it, man. I think it was your first week at Eurosport, I believe, at Discovery. Thoughts or reaction, I guess.
I mean, we had a pre-fight show with somebody who hosted it with analyzing from Marloes Koenen, who will do that now for every event. We had the show actually, and with it and between the fights, Marloes Koenen and the guy Nassim is his name are commentating between it. You could use for Dutch commentary or English commentary, but everybody uses English commentary. So yeah, it was a good one. I think it was the first. It's on Discovery Plus over here, which is an app, and you can pretty much you get every main card for €30 a year at this moment. So that's it's around like $40, and you see every main card, including pay-per-views. So I mean, I think it's a very good deal if you look at comparison to the US, for example. Yeah, it was fun. I'm really looking forward to 270, how that will go. So yeah, that's the first real big event,
Is Marloes Koenen? She's part of the broadcast. Former.
Yeah, she does. She does analyzing, and she's a co-commentator with the Dutch commentary. So
this is your full-time job now, right? Like, have you started full-time, or are you part-time right now?
I'm still have to do mail till January 29th, so it's still 50-50. But
right. So next month you'll be more fully into it. That's okay. Yeah. Almost done the mail thing, Marcel. 2 more weeks, buddy.
Yeah.
Umar pulled out of that fight with Jack Short. I don't think he's been rebooked. I think he's hurt, right? If I'm not mistaken.
The UFC took him off that fight, apparently.
Okay, my bad. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that then. I don't know if he's hurt for sure. Do you think the Gonfa will find out the Gon improved or not? I mean, I think so, but it's hard to say because if he wins, he'll probably knock him out, and then it's like, does he have cardio? It's the same question, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I mean, we'll talk about that fight tomorrow, guys. I honestly don't even want to think about it right now because I still got to think about the fight more. I kind of have a lean in it. They're both amazing fighters. It's one of those fights. They're both incredible fighters.
I'm honestly pretty convinced of my pick, man.
Chris Barnett said in the Cage Ride podcast he wants to go Ohio train since Stipe's having something that works. Thoughts? Stipe versus John Jones would be really interesting, wouldn't it? I don't know if that fight would happen. Derek Lewis is fighting, isn't he? He's fighting someone.
He's fighting Tuivasa. Yeah.
I don't know who he's going to fight. See you, Tristan. Have a good one, man. Yeah, I don't know who's going to fight, but I mean, that's interesting. Stipe's coming back. Maybe he fights a loser. I don't know. Hey, Noah, what's up, man? What's up, guys? Pump for the pay-per-view. I've gone by 3-round knockout. Thanks for the great work as always. Hey, appreciate that, Noah. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think that's a really good prediction, honestly, but we'll talk about that fight tomorrow. Here's a really good question by Marcus, one of my favorites in the podcast. Who do you have favorite to win between MVP and Amosov? Do you like the matchup? I do like the fight. I think it makes sense. I'm glad MVP is getting tested here because, the guy obviously he's fought a lot of guys that, more great opponents coming up. I don't even think he won against Sleeman. Having said that, if he keeps the fight standing, he can win. But I think he's going to get taken down, honestly. So I think Amosov wins.
He didn't even want the Douglas Lima fight last time out, in my opinion. So, yeah, Amosov all the way.
Yeah, especially, 5-round fight. I mean, MVP can win in the first, round or two, but I don't think it's going to work in this
Look
fight.
how much Bellator favoring MVP. They let him fight
it's
again.
In London too. Yeah, I was going to say, it isn't. That's the thing, right? The last fight, I don't think a lot of us thought he won, but it was in London, right? So, the judge's hometown cooking, right? Joe thinks Amosov wins. I think that's fair, Joe. That's kind of what I'm thinking too. Connor's saying some tweets about championship weight. Can you see that fight happening next? That's the question everyone's asking, Glenn. I don't think you can rule it out, right? You can't say no. You can't say no to it happening. I don't think he deserves it at all. Obviously, it should be Justin Gaethje, but it could happen. And also, they could do Oliveira and Gaethje, and then Connor could fight the winner of that fight. They could do that, Marcel. Gaethje and Oliveira can still fight, and then Connor could fight the winner. So it's possible he doesn't deserve it, but UFC's all about making money, man. And again, they don't have live crowds this year. It's COVID season. They're going to try to make as much money as they can. Also, Owen, hey, Owen, what's up, man? He thinks Bontrain was robbed. Yeah, we talked about the fight. I think it was close, Owen, as far as the decision goes. It honestly could have went either way. As far as the tap, I personally don't think he tapped. Marcel thought he did, but it's one of those things I think people are kind of like back and forth on.
I actually said it even harder.
Marcel is convinced.
I think you're blind if you think he doesn't tap. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do have to wear these glasses, so I honestly can't. The way Belter at Bill MVP reminds me of Sugar Song. Yeah, it's fair. But this guy's old though. He's like 34, 35. He's older than me, man. Marcel, that's the difference. I honestly think, hey, Alex, what's up, man? I think they released Chook. Yeah, he's saying they released Carmouche. I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. I think Bellator would be the spot for her. Josh Silveira signed with PFL. Guy's a beast, man. What do you think, Marcel?
Yeah, I mean, why not? You can win $1 million there if you win the tournament. So I would, if I'm a guy who is undefeated, I think Silveira's undefeated, right? And you get an offer for PFL, would have done it. You still can go to the UFC if that's your dream afterwards. Bellator is also still possible, So I mean,
I don't understand why the UFC didn't sign the guy. He's good. I don't get it.
I agree, man.
I don't understand. The UFC has a deal with LFA, obviously. They can take anyone they want basically from there. Obviously, these guys can talk to other promotions, but let's be honest. Everyone, 99% of fighters coming up, they want to fight in the UFC. This guy's in his prime, 29 years old. He's kicking ass at 2 divisions. I'm disappointed UFC didn't get him, man. But good for him because, quite frankly, maybe he turned down the UFC, Marcel. Maybe he's like, I don't want to fight for 12 and 12. I want to try to win $1 million. Maybe that's what. Maybe he'll turn it down. I don't know. So we'll see. Gaethje sitting on entire year and complaining against the fight coming up for guy Chandler coming off the knockout. Yeah. But he has a lot of momentum now, right? He's coming off, fight of the year.
I mean, who else do you want to give the title shot to? I mean, well, you want to give it to Connor? I mean, when Connor last had a win at lightweight, I think Chase Hooper was still a minor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean,
he's a number 1 contender, Justin Gaethje. I mean, Islam and Benio are 3 and 4, so Justin deserves it. He really does. I think he lost to Khabib. Remember that? He didn't lose to Oliveira or one of these guys at Chandler. Again, take any questions if you want, guys. We'll stay here for a few more minutes. Imov and Gaslam. Yeah, we talked about that one I think last week. It's a good fight. And MMA Factory is awesome, man. Look at that logo, by the way. The emoji, the little factory thing. That's so dope. I didn't see that one before. I think Silveira's a great signing, man. Fuck. Again, I think he probably signed there because he's like, hey, I can win $1 million. And I think he legitimately can. He's really good. Also, at the same time, though, I mean, he's not really tested, right? It wouldn't be surprised at the same time this guy goes in there, it's a big favorite and gets KO'd. He's one of those guys that could be. You see PFL, Marcel, a lot of prospects over the years get knocked out in the tournament, as big favorites. Anyways, Marcel, I'm going to check out your Instagram quickly and just see if there's any other fights we missed.
Yes.
There's a couple I think that were announced. Mike Jackson, he's returning to the UFC against Dean Barry. He just got signed. 2 guys that I don't know if should be in the UFC. I mean, Mike Jackson's and 1 no contest, and Dean Barry's 4-1. So I don't really even know. I'm surprised he's still on the roster. I'm completely shocked he was still on the roster when I saw this. So what do you think?
I mean, Dean Barry, he what I saw from him, he looked good, but he fought a guy who was like 6-20, I think, in his last, Drew Lipton or something. But the dude tried to get a fight like for almost a year, and so he had so many guys who pulled out of the fight. So he was so happy he finally had a fight in December, and he won that fight. And I think he got promised, well, if he won that fight, he was going to get signed by the UFC. Plus, he was already signed by the UFC a year ago, but the fights fell through, and they asked him to go search for another fight, and he had visa issues. Sorry, I have visa issues. Yeah, I'm happy for him. Let's see what he can bring to the table. And Mike Jackson, we saw him twice in the octagon so far. Completely didn't have anything to say against Mickey Gall. Against CM Punk, he won the fight. Decision got overturned because of marijuana use. Yeah. What can you say about him?
That's pretty stupid, by the way. Really, he should have won. I mean, he won the fight, but
yeah.
But again, beating CM Punk doesn't mean anything. CM Punk is the worst fighter I think to ever fight in the UFC. I really do think he's the worst fighter ever. Can you think of a worse fighter than CM Punk, honestly? Can you?
I haven't thought about it.
I really think he's the worst guy. Like, he never deserved the chance. He only got it because he's some rich dude that Dana White, was friends with, basically. Mm-hmm. Because so many guys bust their ass for years and never get a chance, than this guy does. So
I agree with you.
I never thought he deserved a chance. But Dean Barry should win this fight. It's just I just don't really understand why Mike Jackson's still on the roster, honestly. Thought he was a journalist and just taking pictures and stuff right now, but he's a good guy and stuff, but I don't have an issue with him. He's cool.
He makes pictures for LFA, right?
Yeah, no, he's on Twitter, he's active, and he's at the event. I'm just surprised he's still fighting. I thought he retired or was cut, Marcel. Like I was legitimately surprised when I saw this, like the rebooking. By the way, Aid Local thinks that Payne would win the rematch. Possibly, yeah. Mike Jackson's on UFC, trains with Mick Maynard. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense too. Mick Maynard's obviously the matchmaker, so they're both from LFA. They both came from there, so or it's called Legacy FC, actually. Thoughts on Jake Paul making the Forbes list? Yeah, 40 million. I mean, yeah, man, I agree. Jake Paul is a polarizing guy. But I think he's doing good things for like fighter pay, I believe, and like bringing awareness to the fact that these guys are getting hosed for the most part. And the guy's fights have been pretty exciting for the most part. So I mean, I have no issue at all with the guy, honestly. By the way, Daniel, no jealousy for Mike. I just don't think he should. I was surprised on the roster as far as Punk goes. Just not a fan of the guy. I don't think he should have been UFC at all. Back in 2012, Tony Ferguson and Dennis Hallman was booked. How do you think the fight played out back then? Maybe Hallman would have submitted him with the guillotine, eh? Dennis Hallman had some crazy performances, man. He beat Matt Hughes twice. I was in Toronto. He fought Carl Parisian once. He ran across the octagon, took him down, and beat the shit out of him. It was crazy. Didn't expect it, Marcel. He also had that fight with Brian Ebersol.
Yeah, with the shorts. Yeah.
Oh my god! And then he got Dana White gave the guy the bonus for finishing him, to get him off TV.
Yeah. Brian Ebersol with the harrow.
Yeah, the harrow. Yeah, he's punching. That guy was jokes.
Yeah.
Earl, the journalist, lobbying for the Punk fight. Maybe. I can't. Daniel, I think it was just, the guy had connections. By the way, yeah, I mentioned earlier, Jakar Closemore still got that fight rebook, so that's good to hear. But anyways, yeah, I think for me, Marcel, I think I've talked about everything I kind of want to as far as UFC Vegas goes.
Same.
Is there any other news? We'll take a few more questions, but I'm pretty good for today, to be honest with you guys.
Pretty much the only news that was today with matchups I can remember is Amosov against MVP, and we talked about this one as well a few minutes ago. So I have nothing.
I'm with you on that, man. Anyways, the point, I'm excited for tomorrow because we're going to talk about UFC 270 more. So I think we have 12 fights, I believe, or 13 fights or something. So I'm not sure what the last count is. It changes daily, but I'm looking forward to it.
There is, by the way, something weird, man. Shamil Abdurakhimov is booked against Tom Aspinall on March 19, right? And it's supposed to be in London. And if you look at UFC stats, you look at March 19, it says Shamil Abdurakhimov against Sergey Pavlovich. Okay. So I don't know about that. I'm trying to find out if that's a mistake or if that's legit. I would say it's legit because it's on UFC stats, but I'm not sure, so I haven't posted it yet. But then you guys know that maybe Tom Aspinall is out, but I'm not sure.
By the way, I just talked to Cole just sent me a message. He said he spoke to Jared Van Der, who revealed he scheduled to fight Barnett, but Barnett got hurt. Then Arlovsky stepped up at short notice. That's what happened. That's why that fight got booked. I was wondering why they booked that fight.
Yeah, same weird one. Yeah.
So I watch LFA. I try to watch some of it, John. It's tough though. I mean, I have a young baby right now, so honestly, UFC is like my number one priority. But yeah, I do pay attention to that fight because I do the opening odds. I just wrote the one for this week. Charles Johnson's fighting Carlos Mata, who's
great fight. I think.
Have him on Twitter. He follows me on Twitter and he's pretty active, and I think it's a great fight. Honestly, I think the winner gets in the UFC. So yeah, I do follow it, John, but I don't watch like every single LFA fight. Unfortunately, I don't have the time. Mick Maynard is biased. Of course he does. I mean, the matchmakers are biased. There's no fucking doubt about it. They do because it's a people business. If you're friends with the matchmakers, they're going to bring you in the UFC. I mean, you're going to be in the UFC. You know. Hope you see Anvar Boyzanarov. He had that crazy knockout. Yeah, that knee. I think right. That was sick.
It was back. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe's saying there's 13 fights. Yeah, I don't know, but Spivak, I'm not sure. I mean, Abe Loco said they're going to push back the fight with Hardy. The card's not great. I agree, Glenn. You know, to be fair, I think some fights fell off, but it's not a great card. Yeah. If Fiziev pulls out, should Gillespie replace him? Sure, but I hope he doesn't pull out because I like that fight.
Yeah, I know this is a dope song.
All right, I think that's it for today, guys. We'll be back tomorrow 5 p.m. Eastern. We'll break down the UFC 270 pay-per-view. Marcel, plug yourself. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, you can find everything Big Marcel 24, Twitter and Instagram. And I write for Eurosport.nl/mixed martial arts right now. So there you can find my articles and stuff. Marcel's almost done, guys, his post office job. It's like you've put in your time, Marcel. It's like you've been in prison. You're almost out of jail, Marcel. You're very close. I'm just kidding. Arlovsky and Van yeah, I agree with that, Alex. I was surprised they booked the fight, but again, that makes sense now, right? Hey, Joe, you too, buddy. You'll see you tomorrow. You guys follow me on Twitter at Adam Martin Podcast. That's on MMAOddsbreaker.com, as you guys know, on the YouTube channel, iTunes, Spotify, all those places you can download it. You guys can listen to it there. Tell your friends about it. You know, appreciate the back and forth here. Also at MiamiNews.com, that's the news there, and then bookies.com. Lots of promos for the sports books, guys, especially if you're like the New York area. So check that out. We'll be back tomorrow 5 p.m. Eastern, Marcel.